Sometimes it's hard to get the momentum to declutter. You get busy, life gets in the way, maybe you don't have the energy, or maybe you're even doing the decluttering, but you're overthinking it and you find yourself in this massive pile of belongings and you're just slowly sifting through each one thinking, what am I doing? How will I ever get through this? It's just too overwhelming. I say this because I've been there. There are times when I'm just not in the mood to declutter, or it just feels like too much effort. So today I want to share a speedy decluttering strategy to try when you're in a rut. It's a low energy exertion decluttering strategy that can help you speed up the process and get that momentum you've been looking for. I think, at least for me, sometimes my problem with decluttering is that I get too slowed down. Now, I know on this channel I talk all the time about how slowing down is good for you, how it's good to take breaks, how it's good to be intentional with our choices and take the time to really think things out and be thoughtful about life in general and also decluttering. But I think sometimes we can take that too far and just get bogged down. It makes the whole process of decluttering way longer, and we don't see that payoff as quickly, and so we lose momentum and we don't have the motivation to keep going with it. Well, sometimes when we get to that place where we're just overwhelmed and we're getting to a point where maybe we're even avoiding decluttering, or at least not doing it as much as we'd like, there's one thing we can do to jumpstart the machine to get it back into gear. And that strategy is what I'm calling the Speedy Declutter. There are 5 steps to this strategy, and obviously take the components that work for you, but this is the approach that's helped me. The first step is to get into the right headspace, and this is actually a really key part of the Speedy Declutter, because basically you're trying to get through a lot of stuff fast. You're trying to do a faster declutter than what you would do maybe normally, where you're really considering every decision you're making. So in order to get into the right headspace, I think it's important to think about why you're doing this. Why are you decluttering? What impact could it have on your life? Or what would doing this declutter open me up to do in the future? And then in addition to that, I think sometimes what's helpful is to actually get clear on what my life is now, not even what I want it to be, but just what it actually is now, and what types of things I do day to day, how do I spend my time day to day now, and what are the kinds of things I actually use regularly. And I think that's an important part of this mindset shift, because so often we are decluttering for either our past selves or our future selves. I've talked about this before, but the idea that you're either feeling like maybe you'll get back to using something you used to use, or you want to commemorate a time in your life so you keep something, or you look to the future and imagine your dream life, and maybe this object would fit into that dream life. But get back to, what do you actually do day to day now? Because then by having both an image of what you would like your life to look like, and then also realistically what it is now, you have 2 sort of lenses through which to view the objects and to think about, is this something I genuinely use right now? And is this something I want to bring into my future? So then the second step is to do a fast declutter session, and basically only give yourself a short amount of time to go through a bunch of stuff and make the decision quickly, almost on gut or what feels right in the moment, as opposed to overthinking it, finding reasons to keep things, or finding reasons why you should feel guilty about the process. Instead, just see how fast you can go through belongings and put them in one of 3 piles. Yes, no, or maybe. By not overthinking it, you're not going to fall into as many thought traps, kind of excuses as to why to keep something, or finding reasons why you might use something in the future. You just go with your gut and you just say, this is what I'm going to do with the item. In this process, it's helpful to remember, as you're going through belongings, these are just objects. These are not people. These are not memories. These are not experiences. These are not accomplishments. These are objects. And I don't have to spend so much time debating back and forth on whether to keep an object. A third step is to go back through the maybe pile and try to eliminate at least half of it. This gives you that kind of second declutter that I've talked about before on this channel, where you get a second chance to reevaluate your decision just to make sure you're maybe not getting rid of anything super valuable or anything like that. But it also gives you a chance to get rid of just that much more rather than just keeping the entire maybe pile, which realistically sometimes I've done. A fourth step, again, this is pretty simple, but you eliminate the no pile. You actually take action and bring it to the donation center, recycle it in the recycling or throw it in the trash. But just do it right away rather than waiting, and find a simple way to do it. A fifth step in this process, and again, this one is key, is to reflect on the entire journey of this declutter and to figure out what you've learned. What patterns do you notice in what you were tempted to keep? What was helpful about this faster declutter? To me, this last step is one we often forget to do, but that's where the learning really sinks into your long-term memory that you can take to your next declutter. Now, I know those 5 steps are fairly simple, like they're not that different from your typical declutter, but the reason why I break this into 5 is so that you're in the right mindset, you're really ready to do a speedy declutter as opposed to just like an impulsive declutter where you're not really thinking about the right metrics for why to get rid of something. By also being in a ready mindset, you're more likely to get rid of more, to be able to make faster decisions, and to feel less guilty when you are parting with things. I also think by forcing yourself to do things faster, you're going based on your intuition rather than sort of overly intellectualizing things or finding all these excuses. You're just doing it based on deep down what feels right. And so often that inner compass can be very powerful in the decluttering process. Overall, I guess my point is just don't be afraid to play around with doing it faster and making quick decisions, and maybe leaning a little bit more toward letting things go rather than keeping them, because the worst case scenario, maybe you regret decluttering something and you're like, oh, I wish I had that spatula or that bowl or that t-shirt to wear today. In the long run, that's not going to really impact the quality of your life. What's going to impact the quality of your life is having less stuff to constantly wade through in your home. You're gonna have a home that you can invite friends over to or family over to more regularly because you don't have to do so much to prep for guests. You're gonna have a home where you feel relaxed and comfortable, or when you come home at the end of the day, you feel is inviting and welcoming you in, is a pleasant place to be. So even if you don't follow the 5-step process to a T, hopefully this video can just remind you, take a quick few minutes, just go quick declutter a junk drawer or whatever it is that's been bothering you. You can make a change and it can happen faster than you think. Anyway, that's most of what I've got for you today. But if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button. It's a great way to support the channel. So if you're willing, just take a moment to do that. If you want to see more videos like this on simple living, decluttering, minimalism, that kind of thing, then hit the subscribe button below. And thank you so much for spending this little bit of time with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.